another episode of PhDyer. Today I wanted to show you a little bit about how I've been doing in quarantine and where I've been sleeping and sort of my setup in a house of 7. So as you can see, I am kind of on like a day bed. Here, let's see if I can show you a little bit better. So we've set up a bamboo mattress that actually folds into 3 into a small couch. So during the day, it's a couch. And then at night, we actually fold it out. It's like a tri-fold, so this folds out into like a queen mattress. But pretty cool, we're making it work. So it's kind of comfortable. Gives my mom's craft room a little bit more space, you know? So yeah, it allows for a lot more space and has provided us with some extra seating, which is nice because the TV's actually directly in front of me. Last night I actually sat here and did quite a few hours of cross stitch, which was pretty nice. So I'm enjoying it and we're making the best of it, and hopefully things will change and I'll get a job or my dyeing will really take off and then I can stay home. Because I'd really like to get my own place, although I am kind of enjoying being with family. It's just really cramped. So we're currently living out of like a drawer, 2 shelves, and this bed. So things have been challenging, but they've been nice as well. People made room, and so it was really nice of them to kind of push their stuff aside and give us an extra shelf here and there while we're staying here. So yeah, that's my arrangements. So if any of you are in some weird predicament with a family of 7, let me know what you're going through, because I'd like to see your arrangements. What have you been doing during quarantine and how you've been keeping safe? I want to show you my Amors Arrow sweater. Almost finished it for my sister, but I had to stop because my wrist gets really bad. So I couldn't seem to keep knitting. This gets like really swollen. And so I wear a brace for a couple days when I do like lace knitting or something really strenuous. It's not really for a regular like garter stitch or something, but lace or some kind of pattern really makes it swell. So this is the sweater. Really cute. This is the Blackbird song colorway that you saw. You saw a little piece of it the last time it was being done, and you might have seen some clips of this as I've been completing it on Instagram. And so the lace panel is actually going to go around the shoulders. This obviously goes over the head. This is the neck hole. If you want to see up close what the lace looks like, very pretty. It was done in like a cotton. And I still have the back to do, but unfortunately I underestimated, or I thought I had enough cotton. But I don't think I do, so I may just take the back up in the Blackbird song and just leave the lace in the front, especially since I'm not really enjoying knitting the lace, and then I'll just leave this panel in front to look pretty like lacy in front. So that's how that sweater's going. Should be done in like a couple days, maybe a day or 2. I kind of took a break from it, like I said. So I might go back to it in a day or 2 after I've filled some dye orders, and I've been really into my sock knitting. So I finished one sock, and oh, Kitty wants to get out. Hold on. Hold on, Kitty. Okay, sorry. So I finished one of my socks in the Springtime Zen colorway. I guess you've kind of seen this all over Instagram probably, and in our Making Updates Sundays. Really interesting because I cut my knitting. So I ended up knitting toe up, and then when I got to the fleegle heel, I thought it was in the perfect position, but I think the mistake I made was when, you know how like it has to get to the top where your ankle meets your foot, like that instep there? I had just slipped the sock on, and I didn't really pull it as tight as I kind of would have if I was wearing the sock itself. I just kind of laid it on there. It was at the instep, and I thought, okay, now I'm going to start the heel. So I started the fleegle heel, but the time I was done the fleegle heel, I ended up with a sock that was longer than I actually needed. So I actually watched a few videos and learned that when you pull on the sock to gauge whether or not you need to be starting the fleegle heel, you would actually pull it on pretty tight like you would an actual, like if you were wearing the sock and it was all finished. So I probably shouldn't have let it be so relaxed, and then it wouldn't overestimated when I was supposed to actually start the heel, which I heard is an actually really common problem, is knowing when to start this heel. Because my afterthought heels were always spot on. I just have a really hard time closing up the afterthought heel when I go to pick up the different stitches and all. So yeah, so I switched to this heel. I will say I really like this heel. I think I'm going to do them again because it's like a marriage between a heel flap and gusset, and I forget what the other heel is called, but here, look, it's pretty cool. So it actually comes to like a V in back, which is pretty cool. And I really like how it gradually kind of decreases. It doesn't give you as much arch support, in my opinion. I feel like the afterthought heel actually gives arch support, where this is kind of a lot more loose. But I am really happy with the colors. And like I said, I actually had too long of a sock, so it was like out to here. It was crazy. So I picked up all the way like back here. And then I started knitting and added on my toe in yellow. So I basically cut the knitting like right here, cut all that off, and then knit a whole new toe section. So I'm really happy with how they turned out. I will be casting on the second one shortly, I think. Yeah, probably pretty soon. And then I've been really into cross stitch, and believe it or not, I actually cross stitched for quite a few hours, even though what I did looks like 5 minutes. I guess I'm just a really slow stitcher. I feel like I'm having a hard time seeing what I'm doing. I have gone back to using a ring while I work. You can actually see where the ring was. Because I was trying to freehand it, because I felt like the hoop was hurting this left hand. I know, I pipetted for like 12 years, and so when I hold things with my thumbs, or like I try to do things repetitive, my hands always hurt. So yeah, I tried to do freehand, thinking maybe that would take some of the weight off when I was holding it, but then it was really difficult to kind of quickly get in and out of the holes. So I ended up going back to using a ring. And I think another thing is there's a motion to cross stitching. I was watching some videos, so I think my speed might have something to do with, you need to like go in and then come right up with the needle into another hole. And I'm basically going all the way down, pulling it through, and then all the way back up again and pulling it through. And I think that makes you really slow. Not that you need to be speedy, but I would like to see some progression on it. So I think I'm going to try to practice that motion and see if I can't get a little bit quicker. Oh, now a cat wants to get in. So this is Spooky. We weren't friends when I got here. This is my sister's cat. But he seems to like me now. Yeah. I think he got a little spooked that we were looking the same, maybe, because he like bit me really bad in the leg when he first got here, like flopped down. And anyway, so he seems to like me now because he comes in the room all the time. He's looking out the window. So he's going to stay with us while we chat. So yeah, back to cross stitching. So I'm going to practice that motion. Probably show a few clips to show you guys what I'm talking about. Or you'll see it in like my making updates, or I'll post on Instagram some of my progress with trying to make that motion and get a little quicker. But here, I'll show you my progress. So here is, these are basically, this is the ground, and these are columns, I'll show you what those columns are actually supposed to be. So they are these columns that are starting. So there we go. So yeah, I think it's going pretty well. I'm really excited about it because I finally got to start making X's. The whole bottom is like half stitches and the columns are actually full cross stitches. So I was kind of excited to start that. So I'll continue working on that. I have a feeling this project is going to be a couple months, if not a lot longer, because this is something I pick up in between my knitting. And now that I'm dyeing yarn, I find that I have a lot more to knit to show off the colors, you know, and to test how everything sort of comes together, because I do like to see how the colorways knit up before I actually send them out. And I actually have another batch of yarn, which I'll show you, even though it's not in an official post sneak peek. I'll still send that post out so you can kind of get a good look at that. I did come out with a new line. I don't know that I would call it a collection so much, because I feel like I just did a bunch of different themes and a bunch of different colors so that everybody would kind of have something to choose from, whether you like neutrals, subdued, or if you like really loud and in your face colors. So I did anything that I thought would inspire me. And if you saw the post on Patreon, then you saw my dream board and you saw maybe some of the things I was going to dye up. Alright, so first I'll show you like the really loud colors. So this one was inspired by kind of being yourself and not caring what anybody thinks. And it's called FLAWsome, because you have flaws but you still know you're awesome, right? And it's just loud in your face kind of colors. Bright fuchsia pinks, yellows, there's a pop of orange in there, and of course like bright blue. And that's on a slub base because I thought, what's more loud and in your face than some slub yarn, because I love it. I think it picks up color really well too. I was thinking that was because of the 90% wool, but I'll show you in a few minutes why I think maybe that's not the case. I'll have to figure that out. The next one you already saw in one of the sneak peek posts, and that was Summer Lovin'. And so these are going to go for a photo shoot, probably maybe today if I can fit it in. But this one's really beautiful. I would love like a really awesome shirt or shawl out of that. And these are going to come in any base that you want, listed on my Etsy, so it'll be fine. This is Blue Crab. I think I showed these to you guys last time. So FLAWsome is added to that one. And Flamingo Floatin' you've seen. And then another new one that you haven't seen, which is a little less bright, is called Riverbend. It has like those rocky colors and then all the river blues, which I think are gorgeous. The next one is a succulent plants. I know a lot of people have succulent colorways out there, but I absolutely love them and had to do one of my own. And what's exciting is this one I introduced my mohair base. It's the first one that has been done in mohair. It has the light flowery pink with the subdued and some darker sage and leafy greens, just like succulents. And then here it is in mohair. I love mohair. It's like one of my favorite bases. And it's my first time dyeing it, so I'm pleasantly surprised at just how similar they came out. But I may put out a whole line of mohairs that are kind of like this, almost solid, you know what I mean? Like just one color, because they are kind of accessory knits to pair with something. This one I put out in a collection, but I'll have like different ones that'll go with multiple colorways in the shop. So keep an eye out for that. And then the next one is called, for those of you that like neutrals, Brew-Ha-Ha. It's inspired by all the colors of tea. And if you didn't know, there's an actual British tea named Brew-Ha-Ha, so that makes it even funnier. Get it? Haha. But see, tea colors, a hint of blush in there because I felt like it gave the brown a little more of that. You know when you put like cream in your tea? I don't know if anybody else puts milk or cream in their tea. Usually milk for me. But I feel like it gets that blush kind of color, gives that chocolate brown and those different tan colors a different appearance, as if you had milk in your tea. So really happy with this one. I do think this one goes really well with this one, like if you were going to knit a shawl or something. So those are the new ones. So that'll be 4 new ones, and then I think today I'll be doing some more off of the dream board because I really want to get out at least probably 10 more. I really want people to have choices, but I'm also being careful because I'm a brand new dyer and I don't want to deplete my wool stock, so that I have plenty if anybody orders a sweaters quantity, which Marnie, you should know because you've ordered another sweaters quantity, which I absolutely am so grateful for. I hope you really love Enchanted Ivy, and the cashmere was such an awesome choice. So plenty of cashmere coming your way. Let's see if I can get that for you so you can see it one more time. So Marnie, so here's what you're getting, but yours will be in a cashmere base, and it's going to be awesome. This and the Gnome Kisses goes awesome, so like your whole order is like exactly what I would have wanted to knit. So I'm jealous and very excited and can't wait to see what you make. I am hoping that you'll share with me what you make. Anything you guys make, we're going to have, you can make your shout out sort of thing, which actually I'm going to put up today when I put up the vlog. Because I want to see if maybe you guys will share with me some of your recent makes, and we'll put them as like a shout out on a post, or kind of start something where we can talk about our making together. So I'll post that. Anything else I forgot to mention? Oh, my lace shawl is still the same. I just have not been able to knit it. Because then I did the lace on the Amors sweater, and I didn't go back to the lace on my shawl. But I'm really wanting to knit it, so I need to get on that because it's really pretty. My wrist doesn't do it, you know? My wrist starts to give out with the lace knitting. So I think I'm going to start casting on what my mom's doing. She's doing, I forget what the shawl's called. It was that orange and blue one, if you've seen the Woolen Women podcast. And it's like the best knit, she said. You just sit there and knit instead of having to be stressed out by reading the pattern so much and paying so much attention. So I think I'm going to keep that on the needles. So I'm going to cast that on, and then I'm also going to keep the lace one on. So I can just kind of keep bouncing back and forth from the lace one to another one. As for color, I think I'm going to do a really bright shawl. I'm not sure though. So I tried to do Flamingo Floatin' a second time with a dye from a different company. And I guess on the monitor, they show these little like squares of color, and they looked exactly the same on the monitor, but they weren't at all the same, not in the same proportions. So the first time I dyed up the skein, I trusted that they would be the same because, hey, it was a learning experience. And then I realized they weren't. When it finally came out, it was like a bright fuchsia pink instead of a flamingo pink. I call it Flamingo Floatin' Pink, obviously. So I had to go back and readjust the ratios between the pink and the other flamingo colors I add in there. And I ended up doing a lot less of the fuchsia color, and then it came out perfect. It matched the original colorway. So, but I have an extra skein from that hot fuchsia one, and it's pretty awesome. So I may knit up a shawl in that kind of color with maybe another solid as like a summer shawl. Be cute, bright. Either that or I'm torn between that and neutrals. The only other thing I didn't show you, the last colorway, is Moonwater Wishes. That's what we're calling it. So if you saw my Instagram, you saw this dye pot, low immersion, and it was like these beautiful, bright, magical kind of colors. And I think I even gave it a cute little witch theme song. But I dyed it on 100% wool. And I'm not quite happy with how it came out because I've never dyed on this base before. I actually ordered it by accident and kept it because it was so soft, and you can see the twist in the yarn, which I love. But I wanted to try it out just like the mohair because I wanted to have dyed on every base to know how the colorways would come out. So I did it, but when it came out of the dye pot, it definitely had exhausted all the dye. So I knew it took everything up. But after a while, like, I washed it and I laid it out to dry, and after it dried, it looked really subdued, which is not what I wanted. So here, I'll show you. It's almost like pastels, which I'm not kind of happy with. I think it's beautiful. I just kind of wanted a little more vibrancy. And so this one requires reskeining to get it to mix and mingle the colors like it is. It actually is splotched originally. And I kind of fought between, should I keep it in splotches or reskein it? So I reskeined it, and then it looked way lighter than it did when it was in splotches. So I don't know if I'm going to re-dye it or not. Maybe you tell me what you think. I'll put a poll up and see if you guys think it needs to be more vibrant, or if you think this fully reflects Moonwater Wishes. And I will put the picture up beside it so you can see kind of what my inspiration was. It's really cool. And my original inspiration to look up Moonwater and kind of make this skein was actually making Moonwater with a crystal with my twin and my mom. We made Moonwater and we made a wish and we charged it under a super moon. So it was really cool, and I felt really inspired. So I made Moonwater Wishes. And I think by far it would have been my favorite. I just wanted it brighter. But now that I'm looking at it, I kind of like it. I'm not going to lie, sometimes I just leave the skein laying around, like somewhere out in the wild, like on a shelf or like on a table. And then I just kind of see it for the first time every time I walk into a room or something, trying to gauge, like, would I be drawn to it if I walked up to it, or see it, you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like if you're testing a new paint for your wall, like you kind of put it there and you want to see it every day to see how you feel about it after a few days. It's kind of like that. So I'm still in the I kind of don't know how I feel about it phase, which makes me nervous because I feel like I should be overly wowed about it. But I'm wondering if it was on a different base, if I would be really wowed about it. I feel like the 100% wool may have affected the color. But then again, like you're looking, this is 90% wool, and look how vibrant. Hi, you. Sorry, there's a little spooka cat. So I'm not sure. All right, you want to get out now? All right, so Kitty wants to get out, and I'm going to take you downstairs to take a closer look at my new shelves because I am so excited to have shelves. I made them all pretty. I put little labels on them. So here's a closer look. Okay, so my mom's watching Sue of Legacy Fiber Arts in the background, sorry. But here's my shelves. I have quite a few of my jacquard dyes, which actually I don't use as much because these are the original ones I started with and they're only half an ounce. So I had to order larger quantities. So I really like the Dharma acid dyes. I think they're more vibrant and they hold color better. So I put them all in the back and they're color coded. So like all the pinks are there, the sort of oranges, and then greens and blues, so they're kind of categorized. Oh, and there's my dyeing apron my sister made me. See, it's got strawberries on it. Super cute. Yep. chemicals, my weigh boats, all my tools, my dyeing notebook, masks, and then of course all the mixed up dyes, all the dilutions and everything I mixed together that I gave names. And then some of my empty mason jars that I'll make new colors in. Then of course my wool is back here, my low immersion dyer, and then there's some pans even underneath on the side here. Oh, and with my drying rack. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this episode of the PhDyer. I feel like we need to call this the PhDyer Comfy Couch, because this is like where my life is now until quarantine is over and until life gets a little more normal. Hello, spooky. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will post everything today, see if we can get talking about your projects and what you're doing, and I'm gonna get to dyeing. I hope you're having an awesome day and you're staying completely sane during the quarantine.